Expedite, the pre-workout, is designed to really help you get through those moments where you feel a little fatigued. Sometimes your body does get a little tired, it gets a little sore. With this kind of stuff, it picks you right back up.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Marcos Villegas, and being joined with me right now is Jeff Horn from the future in Australia, being joined by him on Zoom as he fights Tim Tszyu coming up August 28th in Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville, Australia. Jeff, in a fight that was supposed to happen in April. Hey, man, it's great to see you again. I haven't seen you since you fought here in Vegas against Terence Crawford. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. Good to see you again, Marcus. And everything's going well for me. Just training hard, getting ready for this next fight. It's been definitely a long preparation with all this coronavirus business happening.
Yeah, man. How's that whole thing been for you? Dealing with all this and still having to train for a fight.
Look, it's definitely been a disruption, but I guess it's been good to have like a little break. I've had some time off and done some other fitness stuff just to kind of keep myself in reasonable nick before stepping up into a boxing preparation.
Has it at all hindered training at all for a big fight like this? Like, has it made it more difficult to find sparring and to find people to train with?
Not overly. Look, yeah, the sparring partners is probably limited, but I've got some good guys I'm still working with, so I'm not disappointed in that area anyway. And just going down that road and pumping the rounds out.
When I heard that the fight is going to be open to people, like it was like such a surprise to me because, obviously here in the U.S. Things are not that good. We got an orange wizard that's I don't think handling the situation over here too well, but it's still surprising that you guys are going to have close to 16,000 people, if not more there.
Yeah, that's at the moment we've cleared for a 16,000 people venue at the stadium, but hopefully there's going to be more because I think the capacity is about 30,000 in there.
Dang, so that means like you guys, in terms of this whole COVID thing, like it's not very active over there in Australia anymore then, right?
No, everyone's doing a really good job. Look, we all kind of self-isolated for a while, even though you could go out. Everyone was very careful and was making sure we kept our distance and stayed at home where we could, and it kind of died down pretty well with everyone doing that.
Wow, you guys are so lucky. You're so lucky because it's a completely different story over here.
Yeah, I've heard, but I guess we've got places in Australia that aren't doing as well either, and they're not probably listening as much. Melbourne's probably struggling a little bit, but I think they'll be coming good soon. They haven't probably done social distancing, and they're always a very busy state, so they've kind of kept on moving because of business, and they're probably hurting for it now.
Is there any concern on your end over it being open to people or on the promoter's end? And is there any extra precautions being done to ensure like that there's not any sort of outbreak over there?
Yeah, look, I guess the precautions will be trying to isolate people before they come in, just to make sure that they're not sick. So giving them a week in somewhere where they can be tested, and then once they're cleared, they're allowed to kind of go through as normal.
Okay, yeah, because it just seems so strange, like because obviously here the fights, they're closed, like no one's allowed in, not even media is allowed in. They're not happening very much. We're gonna get finally fights in California, but those are closed as well. So it's just crazy to me to think like normal life is happening in other parts of the world where like it's not much of a worry as it is here.
Almost normal, not quite. Yeah, but I can feel it day by day. You can start to feel people are starting to relax. I guess that's a risk sometimes for it to come back, but I think we're doing all a great job at the moment. And when you've got pretty much no cases, people probably starting to go back to normal life.
Yeah, I want to go over to Australia and be over there and in New Zealand for the rest of the year.
Good places to be.
Yeah, I know for sure. Jeff, during this whole time, I've seen and noticed a lot of fighters have used this time to kind of, I want to say, clear their mind and heal up from stuff and just kind of enjoy the free time off. What did you do with all your free time? Did you do, like Netflix binges and just pig out on food, or were you like pretty good and still kept your fitness up?
Yeah, I was definitely careful with the food. I knew if I went too hard on that, I would blow out, because I feel like food likes me as well. I don't know, all that nasty sugary foods. But look, I made sure I kept the routine of my day and made sure I did a workout every day, at least something, just to keep the heart rate up and keep the fat down. But then I just loved spending time at home with my wife Jill and my kids. So it was just some great time, which I haven't had for a long time, to be able to just sit back and enjoy that.
That must have been priceless too for you, because I know the life of a boxer. It's a lot of sacrifices and a lot of days away from your family. There
are a lot of sacrifices. So it was very nice just for everyone to just be like, just stay at home, don't do anything. And you're just like, yes, please, let's do. Like,
but now you got to start this camp. You got Tim Tszyu happening. What's your overall thoughts on this fight?
Look, I think Tim Tszyu is definitely a good fighter. I've even called some of his fights before, and I've seen him throughout the amateurs, and he's definitely got a lot of talent. But I wouldn't be comparing him to his father just yet, even though he has some little glimpses of him that come out every now and again. But I think his father was a supernatural talent. He was amazing, and I guess Tim's got a little bit of that in him, but whether he can kind of outburst any more of it is a question that I don't know. I don't think he can. I don't think he's got what his dad did. So I'm ready to be that speed bump or that wall to stop him.
No, certainly his stance reminds me a lot of his father. The way he holds up his hands and everything like that. But I think his dad, the thing that made his dad special was his power. And looking at Tim's record, certainly he has a good amount of knockouts, but I don't think the power is quite there like his dad was.
No, well, that all stems down to probably his footwork as well and the explosiveness on his feet. And Tim's definitely not a explosive mover like his dad was, and he doesn't use his legs to put all that power into his shots. So, Costa was absolutely amazing, an exciting fighter to watch.
I was surprised to see the odds for this fight, and you're the underdog in this fight when you've already have fought in Terence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, have fought in former world champions, and you have over 35 fights, I believe. And they're putting you as the underdog. I was really surprised. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really like condoning betting, but there's probably some money to be made there at the moment. I'm very confident I can beat Tim Tszyu. I guess the punters are going on me, kind of over it, and probably not fighting my best, probably because I fought Michael Zarafa and lost against him. But that is a fight I took easy, and I definitely shouldn't have, because he is a tough fighter and he's a bigger guy than I am. And I definitely got taught a lesson in that one. As a teacher myself, or as a former teacher, I definitely got taught the lesson that you've got to train hard. You've got to treat every opponent with respect.
So you think based on those two performances, that's what the bettors are really going on that?
I think so. That's what I believe. I couldn't see Tim being favourite if I had just fought Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford, those guys. So I couldn't see them going, oh yeah, Tim's still going to beat him.
Yeah, that's true. There's that saying, you're only as good as your last fight. But this fight's at 54. You fought those other fights at middleweight. Why are you moving down now?
Look, I was I was struggling making the welterweight limit, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to jump up, and I had that opportunity to fight at middleweight, and I was like, look, I'm probably sitting a couple of kilos even over middleweight, so yeah, sure, let's do it. It's going to be an easy weight make. I don't have to kind of stress about it and see how I fight like that. And it wasn't the way to do it. I haven't done it for my whole career, and I've always had to think about my weight, and I think that's probably a key to make sure I'm fighting fit.
So with this move down to 54 from 160, with 54, is it still a very difficult cut for you?
Look, it's not going to be an easy one. I've definitely got to watch everything that I'm doing. I'm going to make sure I'm doing a lot of cardio to get that weight down, and definitely the food needs to be on point. So it's definitely not an easy task to get down to 70 even now.
So how do you feel like different from middleweight to 54 so far?
I don't feel any difference at the moment because I was probably a little middleweight anyway. I probably shouldn't have been fighting at that division. I shouldn't have been cutting that much. But I notice now that I just feel stronger. I feel like I'm going to be very strong come that night. And the only risk is the weight cut. But I'm doing as much as I can now to make sure it's not a big weight cut.
Yeah, when I watched those two fights that you had with Zarafa, and haven't seen you ringside for the Crawford fight and seen the other fights that you had at welterweight, I noticed right away that you weren't as quick. And I thought, okay, maybe that's the extra weight, like moving up 2 weight classes to go to middleweight.
Yeah, probably. I guess you don't realize it yourself very much that you're kind of losing a bit of speed when you put on a bit of weight, but there was definitely activity. My activity was down. I wasn't able to sustain it over the whole 10, 12 rounds, and that was a big bang in my career at the moment.
Now, there was a little bit of drama that I've read between the camps in terms of an old team member going to their side to help out. From what I read, Dundee Kim, went to help out or at least give tips to Tim Tszyu. What's going on with that whole situation, Jeff?
Look, I can't answer that question because I haven't spoken to Dundee. He hasn't tried calling me or anything. I think I'm hoping it was harmless, but it didn't look good, I guess, on the news here in Brisbane that what Dundee was doing. It looked like he was showing him how I punch and how I do things. Not that you can't look at videos and see that anyway, but it was a shock to me to see an old trainer of mine get in there with my next opponent and be showing him some moves.
So what happened with him leaving with the split, like on your guys' end?
Look, I've got a lot of respect for Dundee. Dundee's a great guy, and he's been a great addition to my team for a long time, and a big supporter as well. So I've got nothing bad to say about him. But he was put into the team at the start as a strength and conditioning coach, and that's why I went to his gym. But then he was doing boxing with a lot of his clients, so I decided to do a couple of rounds with him, and he was a good pad work holder. I believe Dundee Kim, he's got that fast noodle work, fast pad work. That probably at that time, I really needed that fast hand work with him.
So from there, has he officially joined Tim's side, or it was just like a chance meeting where he was like, oh, hey, Jeff does this, and that, and then that was it?
Yeah. I think it was just a chance meeting that he was happy to just keep promoting the business and things, and he was just happy to have Tim Tszyu over. Okay,
because then from what I read, they made it seem like he fully blown joined the team. So I think maybe that might have been an overreaction on the media part over there.
Yeah, well, yeah. As far as I know, he definitely hasn't joined the Tim Tszyu team, but I believe he definitely showed him a few things which I wasn't really happy about with him doing. But look, it would be probably more disappointed if he was completely joined their team.
Have you messaged him at all about that?
No, I haven't. I don't feel like I should be the person to be chasing people up about it.
Well, of course, you have this fight, and he did a news bit where he said if you don't finish Tim in 6 rounds, that you might get into some trouble with Tim. I wanted to get your overall thoughts on that, and really realistically how you see the fight really playing out.
Yeah, look, I think he's probably going off my last couple of fights where like I said, I've been fighting a middleweight and probably holding a little bit too much and not being able to last the whole round. So I can last them, but probably at an intensity that Tim Tszyu and guys are going to bring, it definitely shows you in there that you're not going to be able to last that long. So I think that's what he's going off the weight division. But because I'm going down in weight and I'm being very strict and routine with everything I'm doing, I'm sure it's going to be, even if it was to go over 6 rounds, I'm going to have this one in the bag.
Yeah. Why are you so confident, Jeff? What do you see there that no one else is seeing, that the bettors aren't seeing, that maybe some fans that might have turned on you and jumped on his bandwagon aren't seeing?
Look, I guess he's there to be hit. Not to say that I'm not, and a lot of people say I'm easy to hit, but I definitely see how I can break him down and beat Tszyu. So I've got some good guys on the team now that I'm working with Glenn as well, and we're very confident with my strategy of how to win this fight.
What has Glenn told you about how the fight ends?
Look, Glenn just wants me to put pressure on him and win this fight. So I guess that is a way I can do it, and it's a strategy that can work, is just pouring the strategy on the young bull and seeing how he can handle it. But I guess if I maintain my fitness and push through these hard 10 rounds, which I'm thinking they're going to be, it's quite likely that I could get him.
Get him as in stoppage?
Yes.
Yeah. Your timing is so unorthodox, and it's really tricky if you're like a very traditional boxing guy with your movement and timing. Where did that come from?
I guess that's from going to a gym, a martial artist boxing gym. Glenn's got a lot of martial arts background, and he taught me that footwork at the start. Then I went to AIS and learnt the basic what boxing movement was, and I found them to be very, very different to how I learnt it. But it was good because I'd already ingrained that martial arts kind of background into my boxing, and I guess it's just an advancement in the style, and it just makes it awkward for other boxers to kind of deal with.
Yeah, it's super awkward. It's super tricky because there's times where I'm looking at some of your past tape, and you'll move one way and then you move the other way, and I'm like, as a boxer, I'd be like, okay, that's tricky. You weren't expecting that movement there, so I could see how it can complicate a lot of things.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why we do it, to confuse the opponent and to land punches and hard punches.
No, yeah, you're a power puncher, man. You're even at 47, you were a big guy for that weight. Do you feel at 54 that you will still have that physical advantage over a majority of the 54 pounders?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know about that. I never felt really big at welterweight, but I guess I was probably a little bit than my opponents. But I think the super welterweights are going to be a bit bigger. I don't know. I think it's all going to be an even playing field come weight and size.
So when are we going to see you back in the States, Jeff? We saw you in Las Vegas with Crawford. When are we going to see you back? Is that in the future plans at all?
I guess that's definitely a possibility. We'll see what happens after this fight. That's all I'm doing at the moment, is taking each fight as it comes and knock over Tim Tszyu, and then we might see what options are on the table in the US and the UK and wherever there is else in the world.
But it's certainly a thing that you want to do, right? You want to have another fight back over here again?
Yeah, that would be great. When coronavirus things over there.
I could notice that in your voice. You're like, yeah, after this coronavirus thing.
Look, I've always said that I'm going to be retiring at age 35 in my boxing career, so I don't really have long left, and I really don't know how long this travel restrictions and things and the coronavirus kind of hang around. So it could impact my career, but hopefully we can nut out another fight maybe towards the end of the year or the start of next year.
Who do you think would be good to fight at 154 if you are victorious over Tim? You know, we got champions like Jermell Charlo, Jeison Rosario that surprised everybody. You have big names still in the division. Kell Brook, I believe, is going to be at 154. There's a lot of good, solid matchups for you here at 154.
Yeah, look, I'm not. I don't really care who it is, to be honest. I'll take on any of them. That's all I'm doing, taking each fight as it comes. If a good opportunity comes up and a big name in the US wants to have a fight, I'm there and willing to happen. I'm looking all at that top line of who's the champion or who's got the big name in the US.
Who would be, I guess, given the current condition, you're in a very good position if you win this fight, because you could be like, look, we're allowed to have stadium shows with people in Australia. That's a big gate. I'm a big name. You guys can't do that in the US. You guys got to come over here. So I could see you enticing a lot of the big name people from the US to go over there for a fight with you.
Yeah, I guess that's definitely going to be an advantage on our side. If it happens towards the end of this year or the start of next year, and that we can probably draw the crowds to the fights, and it might be the best thing at this time to be able to go, guys, come over here, because there's no one watching your fights in the US at the moment.
No, it's very true. I would, in person. I know what you meant. Yeah, in person. I would love to see you and Charlo or you and Rosario. I think those two fights, given their styles as well, would be a very, very entertaining fight.
Yeah, they're the guys that I'm after. They're the ones that I want. So hopefully all this goes to plan with this fight with Tim Tszyu, and you see me with a fight with them very soon.
You mentioned 35, you're done. Do you see a scenario where that doesn't happen? Because a lot of times fighters say they're done at a certain age and then they keep going and going and going. For you, why is it that you know for a fact you're done at 35?
Look, I've said it to my family for a while now that 35, I'll be out, and that was a long time ago. But I guess we're nearing closer to that now. It's only a few years away, and I guess I could still get in another 6 to 8 fights, possibly more in that time, which is a lot of fights still to go. I think that's what I probably got left. I've got a lot of probably scar tissue already around my eyes and stuff from cuts and things, and I'm just looking after the body, looking after the brain, making sure that everything's going to be all right for the future after boxing.
Now you've accomplished a lot already, and I know for a lot of fighters it's difficult to step away from the lights, the cameras, the people. It's a really hard thing for them to transition from life as a professional athlete to life as just like a normal person.
Yeah, look, I've never cared too much about the lights, fame, and thing. I treat anyone who I see normally as I would back in the day, and yeah, it's not going to be a change in life for me. I guess it's just going to be I'm the same old Jeff as I used to be.
That's what I've always liked about you, Jeff. You've always been really, really down to earth, really grounded.
Thank you.
I got to ask you one last thing, or I guess one last topic. You having the experience of having fought Manny Pacquiao and having fought Terence Crawford. There've been talks of Pacquiao possibly fighting Crawford. Given your experience with both men, how do you see a potential Crawford-Pacquiao fight playing out?
Oh, look, that's a tough one. Look, Pacquiao is intense, but Crawford's a smart dude, and if Pacquiao was to rush at him like he would probably do with me, Crawford could possibly outbox him. I probably see Crawford beating him in that, but it's a very interesting fight, I guess, because styles do make fights, and That's the one that you're like, well, Crawford knows he's going to come at him. He's gonna beat him with his boxing skills. But that's so hard. It's a hard one to answer.
Yeah, but it's a one. I just wish we can get that fight happening. Just because Manny's over there and top rank, and just
That's what makes it exciting, I guess. The fights we don't happen.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing too, you having that experience with them. Do you see, in your opinion, that Crawford's the best fighter at welterweight? I know there's Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, that many consider to be the top guy at welterweight. What's your take on that?
Yeah, look, I probably think that Crawford is probably he probably is the best in the welterweight division at the moment. Look, it's hard for people to listen and believe because I fought him, I got beaten by him. So he's just saying that because he lost. But look, he is a very talented fighter, a good boxer, and he's smart in there as well. He's not a dumb fighter. He knows what to do, and I guess that's what makes him a great fighter.
Yeah, was that like the most difficult thing in there with that fight with Terence? Was his ability to outthink you and think in there on the fly?
It was, and it was a big stage for me, fighting in the US for the first time, and I knew I had to pull the pressure on him to try and get the score, to get the decision on points if I was, and I knew I needed to go forward at him as well to try and stop him, but he probably knew all of that, and it just worked straight into his hands to counter me every time and eventually stop me.
What were some of like the trickier things he did in there, or some of the things where you're like, man, like this guy's really, really good. I can't believe he was able to pull this type of move off on me or land this type of punch.
Look, I can't really remember, I guess. I can't remember. But he definitely outboxed me on that night. But I felt like I was probably too much focused on going forward, knowing that I need to put the pressure on in the US.
Well, yeah, like I mentioned, it'd be great to see you back in the U.S. after everything's, of course, normal over here. But if not, Charlo, Rosario would to me, are fights that I would love to see you in as well. Jeff, man, thank you so much for this interview. I'm going to go ahead and let you end it. Let fans know, what's left and any parting words for them.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marcos, for the interview. The next fight is very soon up against Tim Tszyu. I can't wait for the fight. Hopefully it's going to be a cracker. Hopefully I get the win nice and quickly. But look, it's going to be a good one, so tune in.
All right, that is Jeff Horn, who fights Tim Tszyu, coming up August 28th in Queensland, Country Bank Stadium in Townsville, Australia, with 16,000 fans, which still blows my mind. I want to go to this fight, but I don't think Australia will let me in right now. Jeff, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man. It was good seeing you. Take care, and I wish you luck in your camp. I hope you have a healthy camp with no injuries.
Thanks, Marcos. See you, mate.
Thank you.